So how about that Super Bowl?
How about that Super Bowl?
I don't know.
Were that
I fucking
close.
fell asleep. I told you. I was
I know.
sleeping in the fourth quarter.
I can't believe that. Of all people.
I had a busy day putting together a swing set. You saw that. My son's birthday was Monday.
I did.
5 hours of putting together, like, at least it was probably, no exaggeration, it was probably 700 pieces.
I believe it. And
Or
it
like
wasn't even from
screws
IKEA, surprisingly.
Here's
either.
the craziest thing. You have a board, okay? Goes into this board, okay? There's 2 screw holes in the board. And in this screw hole, they want you to put screw M09, and then in this screw hole, they want you to put M11. So there's 2, like, why? Why can't we just use the same 2 freaking screws into the board? I don't get it.
Maybe they had a surplus or ran out.
It was freaking China. Guarantee it was made in China.
Damn China.
Speaking of China, we're going to be Russian here pretty soon. We're all going to be.
Are we?
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything about this. I heard you guys talking about it in the background, and you know me.
What are the things that are off limits on this podcast? Topics. What topics are off limits? Politics. Can't go there. We won't go there. Right? But Super Bowl, did your team win?
I did not have a team, but the team I was pulling for did not.
Because?
Well, they lost the game. Like, I'm not a person that ever thinks a ref or a call changes.
He was blaming it on the refs. He was blaming it on the refs. I did it.
I said, but that was a horrible, horrible pass interference call that they made at a very unfortunate time for it.
Which one was that?
The one inside
in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, inside 2 minutes. Yeah.
That was the one. I saw the replays. Obviously, I know which one you're talking about. But
I'm not a football fan by any means. I don't know all the rules, but watching the play live, I don't know all the rules. I don't know.
Where's your man card?
Yeah, no. But like penalties, like I don't know, what. But I watched that play live.
I just took his man card. Hang on, I'm gonna take your man card.
That's fine.
And I just blew up your man card.
That's all right. But I was watching the play live, and as it happened, I said, "Holy shit, what a play! Like that was awesome." And then I threw a flag. I go, "What the hell did I throw a flag for?" And then they called it, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" Like they let them play the entire game.
So that play went through, and it was like
impressive.
And then it was like by the refs.
Just like that.
Done.
Just like that.
Done. Although I didn't catch it live, I did watch the replay, and I agree it was a bad call. It didn't change the outcome of the game. For the record, I bet I won money, okay, on the Super Bowl. That's good. I bet the national anthem less than 1 minute less than 1 minute and like 47 seconds. Or actually, I bet the over. It was 1 minute 47 seconds. It was 1 minute 50 and a half seconds exactly. And I got insider information.
I was about to ask about that.
I got
that was
insider information that somebody that I know went to the Super Bowl and recorded the national anthem as 1 minute 50 and a half seconds, and that's pretty much exactly what it was. So I won some money on the national anthem.
Yep.
I bet the Bengals straight up. So my team didn't win either. Okay. The team that I was pulling for. But I also
bet you were on record last week saying you thought the Rams.
I said I thought the Rams were going to win.
Okay.
But the value bet, right? The value bet was with the Bengals, right? I'm all about making money, okay? And so the Bengals would have made me more money winning. Plus, I think the NFL's rigged, so I was leaning on that. And I bet the Bengals plus points, plus 4.5.
One could say the NFL is rigged because the Rams won.
One could say that, right? Yeah. I don't know. And one could say that the Bengals won. I mean, the Rams won, but only by 3 because the NFL's rigged and they wanted the Super Bowl to be a good game. I think it could have been a freaking blowout. I think it could have went so many different ways. But the point is, I won money on the Bengals plus points. I lost money on the Bengals straight up, and I won money on the national anthem. And so overall, it was a winning Super Bowl for me. Even though I was sleeping, I make money in my freaking sleep, baby. Plus, let's go.
The best part about the entire Super Bowl, halftime show.
I won $100 by the way. $100. $100. But man, I am excited about our guest today. We just recorded the interview with him. You didn't really know him all that well before the interview. No. What do you think?
Dude, this guy is awesome. I'm extremely impressed with him. Not just because of what he's done, but just kind of his mindset.
You like his Lambos.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like
No,
Lambos?
Sean doesn't give a shit about Lambos.
No, I mean, I like him, but it doesn't really matter to me. But just like how he carries himself, like his mentality, his realness, I think that's awesome because at the end of the day, like, everyone lives the social media life. You go on anybody's Instagram or whatever, like they look like they're the happiest people in the world. Meanwhile, they're absolutely miserable. Like this guy is just honest. He's real. And he admits his faults and lives up to them. So
there was some great authenticity. There's some great things discussed. Last week we had Sandra, or the week before last we had Sandra. Last week we had Stephen Cooper. The theme has been mindset. Everybody we've talked to, as soon as we stop talking about insurance, right, and start to get people in and just talk about life, you notice the common thread between everyone is that there's a very similar mindset. So our guest this week, and I'm super excited to announce Cody Kerns on the podcast with us. We just got done with the interview. I'm telling you, it is absolute bombs, right? I had a blast.
He didn't bomb it. It was a bomb.
No, it was absolute bombs being dropped. I had a blast, right? It was not bombed. It was great. I mean, I had a blast with him.
We'll get you a different sound clip next time.
I need more sounds. But stay tuned for this. It's all mindset. It's all like failures into successes, the typical things you might see, but by somebody that's 26 years old, that is a multi-millionaire at this point, that retired his mom at the age of 26. You're going to want to stay tuned for this. You're going to want to check it out. We will see you
after the break. This week, we've got Cody Kerns joining us as our featured guest. Cody's originally from New York, represents while I'm wearing the Yankees hat. Currently resides in Miami. He owns a social media management company, a growth business, iComeUp Marketing, that brings in 7 figures a year on a regular basis. Cody is a master in the passive income space, which I'm a huge fan of.
I got an idea. Who the heck is Cody Kerns? Dude, just tell us who's Cody Kerns, man. We want to know from you. We love the bio. Like, that's a real bio. Like, we put that bio together. We know that's who you are, but tell us who you are for real, Man,
I feel like you set me up on that one.
I did. I was totally waiting to
do that. It sounds better than you guys.
Yeah. Well, just tell us who the hell Cody Kerns is, man. Everybody knows you.
Yeah. I think the strong points are that I'm a young entrepreneur. I dropped out of college, and we can get into the story and all that, but I started at a young age, 19 years old. I just kind of got into the wrong, groups in college.
The wrong types of sales?
Yeah, pretty much. And, 7 years later, multi 7-figure businesses. I've done really well in the social media space when it was hot and everyone was, trying to grow their brand, which people still are, but I just took all that money, I put it into real estate, I put it into Bitcoin, I put it into cars, and just kind of spread my eggs in all these different pots. And now you look back 7 years and you're like, damn, everything's going well, but obviously we all have big goals and can't stop now. So
no doubt. And I can't wait to get into some of that stuff because I've watched you for a while. I've seen his company, iComeUp Marketing, right? I've seen you come up along with that. I've seen your following grow. I've seen your success grow. I've seen you go from social media to, real estate to being an influencer in crypto space as well. And so I'm happy to have you on, man. I'm looking forward to digging into some of this stuff. But real quick, like just a high level overview, like what does Cody Kerns do? Like you've got a social media company, you've got management, like what is, kind of boil it down to the 3 or 4 things that you do to generate income?
Yeah, I'm pretty much retired at this point.
Living the dream.
Just hang out.
Yeah, so the social media business, that was my baby, my bread and butter for almost 6 years. Again, I founded that in 2015. That's really what got my name on the map. I started growing my audience, growing my brand. I got around people like Grant Cardone and all these people of influence. And that was my whole goal with social media. It wasn't necessarily at first to go and try and get people to pay me to do their social media. It was, if I can grow myself, I know I'll get myself in the right rooms and then I can help everybody else, right?
I love that.
A lot of people try and go the opposite way. They're trying to help everybody else before they actually help themselves. And you can't help anybody until you've done it yourself.
Man,
right?
that's good.
So,
yeah, it's like the airline. You got to put your own mask on first.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So social media business was great. Crushed that. Now on a regular basis, I focus on social media. I still, help people grow their brands and audiences. For like a full spectrum marketing plan, I'm just super selective. It's a process to brand somebody now. It's much harder and it takes a lot of capital, man. back in 2015, you could spend $3,000 or $5,000 and you'd be booming. Now it's like you got to have $30,000 to $50,000 to make a dent with your personal brand. So I've just transitioned into real estate, Airbnbs, multifamily, duplexes. I've been stacking Bitcoin for a little over a year now. Just I don't sell, I just buy it. Everyone like wants to trade, and I can't do that. I've tried it. I lose money. So
yeah, no doubt.
I just buy it. I hold it, man. Same with the cars. I buy them. When the opportunity's right, I exit them, get into different stuff. So I don't know. I'm kind of like a multifaceted entrepreneur. By 30, I want to be work by choice, as in just I have enough passive income to really pick and choose who and what I want to be doing. And I think that's what we're all after, is just that freedom, you know?
I think the good thing for you is you've got like, what, 4 years till you're 30? So it's
3. I got 3
3
more.
years. Yeah.
Jealous.
So
Jealous.
you're fine. Yeah. 30.
A lot of time. 3 years is a lot of time, man. Looking back, like, a lot can happen in 3 years.
It is, especially like I want to, and that's a great segue into some of that story, man, because I you know, first of all, we had a guy, I can't confirm or deny, we had a guy last week on the podcast. He had over 200 Bitcoin. Greater or less than 200 Bitcoin does Cody Kerns have?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. I was saying, he said he just started buying last year, so I'd be impressed.
That would be a shitload.
Yeah.
To be fair,
so he's got 10 million in crypto, pretty much.
he's got over 200 in Bitcoin, and a one.
Confirmed, or is that just verbal?
It's confirmed. No, it's confirmed. I know him well. He's a young entrepreneur too. Hides in the shadows. I don't want to give away his entire identity and confirm how much that he has.
I mean, you essentially did.
But essentially did. Just go to last week's podcast. You'll see who our guest was. It may or may not be that guy. But he got 100 of them sent to him from long story. But it is confirmed. Saw with my own eyes. I wouldn't even bring it up if I didn't. It is unbelievable. I'm impressed. But
can't tell this guy anything.
Yeah. Don't tell me any secrets that you don't want to be aired out, because a lot like you, Cody. I mean, listen. Last week, I'll just tell you. Last week, I had a bottle of testosterone and a needle on this table, and I was like, listen. You know, one of my buddies was giving me shit about like, what steroids you taking? I'm like, dude, I do testosterone replacement therapy. It's prescribed by a doctor. I'm monitored my levels. It's good for my health. It gives me energy. It allows me to be at optimal performance levels. And I don't even like, I don't care to be big. I got 2 kids, a wife. I'm like, I don't care to be big and jacked or anything like that anymore. Like I got other things.
As long as you got nothing to hide, you can say whatever you want.
That's right, dude. An open book. Open book. So don't tell me any secrets you don't want me to share, but I know you don't have that many secrets, so that's good. Keep the skeletons in the closet for me. But before we digress too much, man, I want to get into your story. Where I was going with that is like a lot of people hear that and they're like, oh man, he's 27 now, so maybe he's been at this 7 years, 10 years, and that's really not the case. You haven't been doing it very long, but it was like kind of like you found your lane and you just went hard in it. But before we get to, you know, when you found your lane, talk about like some of the things that happened before that, because I know your story just from following you and all that stuff, but maybe some people out there don't know that you had to fail at a couple things first, you know what I mean? And maybe it's a good thing. Maybe you don't call it failure, you call it learning, but some would say it's failure, right?
Yeah, it's definitely failing. It sucks. It sucks in the moment because there is no magic lamp to see in the future. Like everything we do on a daily basis, you're just hoping those actions will result in something down the line, right?
For sure.
But yeah, man, a lot of people now on social media, I get hate messages like, oh, you got parents' money, you got this, you got that. My dad left my life when I was 9, okay? So definitely no daddy money. Like he was out, gone, barely have seen him since then. I haven't seen him in over a decade. So
wow.
My mom raised me essentially by herself with the help of my grandparents, right? Fortunate enough that grandpa owned his own company. He always did well. He kind of held the entire family together. Like without him, there would be no family, right? Like I'd probably still be living in my hometown, not doing that great. So that he was always my inspiration, like growing up, 9, 10. Once you're like in middle school, high school, you start to realize and think, okay, what do I want to do? I want to be a lawyer. I want to be an athlete, like the generic things, right? I wanted to be a paper recycler because that's what my grandpa did.
A paper recycler?
Yeah, like he owns a recycling plant.
Big money in that. Well, if you own the recycling plant, I guess there is big money in that.
Yeah, I mean, working on the line, you ain't making
Right.
money.
Right.
If you own it and you do good business and you have the connections, yeah, it's any company as long as you're in and you do well, you can make money. But yeah, he had the big house. You know, we lived with him for a while, and again, just watching him, I was like, this is what I want to do. I'm gonna own the company. I'm gonna take it over. That was like my plan to get rich. And I started working for him at 17. Started working on the plant line at 18 with like a bunch of convicts. I'm talking in a warehouse, no heating, upstate New York, earplugs in, face mask, hoodie, throwing, separating paper on the line. I did that for like a year and a half, and it was really weird looking back. He never really like let me in the door, if you will.
Right.
He let me work there, but I was always so confused. Like, does this guy not want me to take over the company? I don't understand. And now I look back and I'm like, I just think he knew that there were bigger plans, you know, like that grandpa intuition of, I'm not going to make this kid stay here and run this paper plant.
Yeah. He probably knew the stresses and the things that came along with it. He probably didn't. I mean, my mom was a server my whole life. And, you know, I wanted to, my first job, like before you even, you know, can get a real job, you know, I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to serve. I'm good at it. I can talk to people, whatever. My mom wouldn't let me serve. You know, she would be like, you are not going to work in a restaurant ever in your entire life, period. And so it might have been some of that, you know, like, hey, I know what this this job entails, and Cody, it ain't for you. So maybe he's just looking out.
You know how OGs are. They don't say it, but you gotta sense it. You gotta just get a sense from them. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to college. I'm gonna go get a business degree. Went to school for 1 year. That was the best and worst choice of my entire life. Like, I got a lot of good from that. I met my fiance because I went to that school. A lot of my early clients in the company, you know, were from that school. But I'm just a product of my environment, man. Like, I know that, and that's my weakness. If you guys are all doing something you shouldn't be doing, I'm gonna do it because I want to be cool and fit in, right? Like, that's just how I think I'm programmed.
Right.
And a lot of people won't admit that. Like, they're still
that's so
going
big,
out
man. That's like a really big deal that you can recognize that and see that and have the awareness to say, hey, this is me. So I put myself in a good environment.
Like, you have to pull yourself out, but most people just never pull themselves out, and they just make do with it, you know?
That's so
and
cool.
Make excuses, and they kind of program themselves like, no, this is just a part of what it should be. I should be enjoying myself 3-4 nights a week, doing drugs or alcohol or whatever. So I was doing the wrong things there. I faced being expelled at the end of my freshman year. I was in a fraternity. I had to go up in front of the board of the school, sleeping on my friend's couch. I was so terrified of that moment because I thought I was going to go to jail and be expelled. Long story short, I was fine. I left school though. I was like, I can't do this. I got to go back home. Like, I got to figure something out. So now I'm 18, bro. I went to school 1 year. I'm young for my grade. All my friends are going back to school that sophomore year, like just getting started, going to have their degrees. I'm now a dropout with nothing, living back at home, and I had no idea what to do. And that summer, I met this guy years prior on a cruise ship, okay? Random. This is so random. He calls me. He's like, hey, have you ever heard of this company, Vima? It's affiliate marketing.
Dude, yeah. Verve, baby.
Yes. Yep. He's like, you got to do this. So I'm like, all right, what do I have to lose? Mom, can I borrow $500 to join this MLM company?
Right.
And honestly, that is what started all of this. And I was in that company for over 2 years. I made no money, but I got into self-education. I was reading books.
Yeah.
I was driving to my jobs, like reading a note I taped to my steering wheel every morning. Like, I will be living in South Florida at 22 years old, making this amount of money, doing this, with the girl of my dreams. Like, I wrote out my entire future.
Yeah.
And I worked these jobs. I got into a corporate job. I wanted to do sales. Because after network marketing, you're like, I'm the best salesman.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
So I'm trying to make this fast, too. Like, the story is, I know it's not the most exciting, but just to give everyone an idea, like, so 19 to 22, I essentially did network marketing.
Yeah.
Made no money. I was just living at home, like making like $200.
Trying to figure it out.
I took that resume because I had worked with thousands of people and went to a local corporate company and was like, hey, give me a job. Like, I want a salary job.
What have you done? I dropped out of college and I did network marketing for 2 years. Very employable.
They're like, okay, sounds good. They gave me a job, $30K a year salary. I'm waking up at 6 a.m. I'm getting home after the gym at 8 p.m. You're on the rinse and repeat cycle, like psychotic cycle.
Right.
That company, I wanted to sell for them so bad that typically they make people train. I brought them a deal with the New York State Police to transport a helicopter, okay? Just through like family connections. So I bring them the deal. They close the deal, gets done. I go to them and I'm pressing for more deals. I get called in the manager's office and he's like, you need to stop selling. You're being distracted to the office. You're creating problems. You're not going to sell for another year and a half at least.
Oh my gosh.
So at that moment, I was like, okay, I'm mentally already out. I saw Grant Cardone was doing his TV show, Whatever It Takes. I applied. I got it. I quit the job. I moved down here to Florida. Grant kicked me off. So now I'm like homeless again in South Florida at a hotel for 2 nights. That same day he kicked me off, man, I went to my buddy's apartment down here in Florida and I was like, what does the marketplace need? And I was like, what if I could help people grow their social medias with people that they're looking for? Boom, iComeUp Marketing, the name, that same day he kicked me off. We founded it.
Wow, that's cool.
And now here
never
we are.
Looked back.
So, yeah, never looked
What's
back.
you know that guy? I think his name is what's the guy? He talks about using your failures as fuel. He actually wrote a book on it. I mean, obviously a lot of people talk about that, but his is like rocket fuel. Rocket fuel. No, Mike. Mike C-Rock. Yeah, he said C-Rock says, use that as rocket fuel, right? And that sounds like what you did. Exactly what you did. You left there, and you literally started a company that night.
Yeah. When he kicked me off, of course the videographer like runs over to you to get your emotion, you know?
Yeah.
He's like, if there's one thing you could say to Grant, what would it be? And I was like, I'll be back. And that was it.
Yeah. and then you were. And then you have been back since then, right?
I mean, yeah, 3 years later, I got a podcast with him for free. I did like an 1.5 hour long interview on YouTube. I got an interview with Elena. Like, yeah, great people. Grant is an awesome guy. He's helped me so much. I've spent, hundreds of thousands with his training and been to pretty much every event. And I have a lot of money as a real estate fund too. So yeah. I just give credit where it's due. Like without Grant in the sales world, and without the network he created, I wouldn't have been able to grow my social media marketing company. So
that's huge,
that's
man.
Cool.
I think a lot of us can give a lot of credit to a lot of different people, and almost everybody that's in sales can credit a little bit of something or another to Grant. We do. Sean knows we do. Grant's sales training every single morning, practically, or did for a long time. Every single morning, we train every single day in his sales university. So, a lot of good things we could say about that. But the coolest part of it,
dude, you just become obsessive, like. So many
or be average, be obsessed or be average, right?
I know it's so generic, people think they're going hard because they're showing up, but you really got to go hard for like 5 years of limited social contact. I didn't go out or do anything for years, man. Like, and after years, I kind of like looked at myself. I was like, I feel like I've lost a piece of my human, connection with other humans, because I was so focused on the business.
Yeah.
But if you want to make money, you want to succeed, like there is a little bit of sacrificing in the beginning for years. And it's just, people don't want to hear that because it can be depressing or sad or lonely. But bro, I'd rather be lonely with 10, 20 million taking care of the people close to me than to be worrying forever,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It all goes back to that.
Make it like dark. Don't make it like dark and depressing.
No, dude, it's just reality, and we seem to talk about it all the time. With the whole like the airplane and the air mask. You got to take care of yourself first. You do have to spend a certain amount of time focused on you, focused on the things you're doing, so that you can build something that does help other people, right? Yeah. Or create some wealth that you can help other people with. So.
Yeah. And that actually kind of leads down to something that I wrote down that, you've talked about before in the past that I think is really cool. And a lot of people struggle is once you take care of yourself and then you're building a business, you're building a team, whatever it is, you say it's important to allow team members to find their purpose. And I think that's huge, but I think the struggle is to allow them to find their purpose and not your purpose for them.
Oh, is Sean trying to tell me something right here? He just used that. He just totally used that to say, hey, Brad, get the fuck out of my way.
Right?
Let
Pretty
me find
much.
my own purpose, and you don't have to find my purpose for me. It's okay, Brad. Hey, come on. I'll let you find your purpose.
Is this because it's just Valentine's Day? You're still feeling lovey?
No, it's because I know your dog just got out of boarding school, and you're very emotional and thankful to have him back and all that stuff.
Definitely.
So. But yeah, talk about that, man, because you also say, once you start to make a little bit of money, invest that back in your team and do those things with your team. And I know you have a kind of a tight-knit core team, so I'd love to talk to you about the team building stuff, man. Obviously in insurance, that's what we do. We build teams, we build agencies, and that requires people. So man, let's hear it.
I'm going to be so honest. This is, in business, my worst skill set is building teams.
Okay.
Let me rephrase. I'm not good at it, and I've stopped focusing on it. With iComeUp for about that 5 or 6 years, I was really focused on growing that company. We got up to a point, we had like 20 employees, we had an office. I was working with a lot of people 25 and under, which is extremely difficult when you're their boss at the same age, if not younger than some of those people, right?
Yeah, right.
So that was tough. And I look back, and a lot of the people that succeeded or went from zero to making, 100, 200,000 a year quick, man, like quick.
Yeah.
I know how to make people money, but none of them lasted. They all crumbled. And I look back and I feel that I could have been a better leader by allowing them to find their own passion within it rather than forcing all of mine on them.
That's really
good. It worked for a year or 2, 3 years because you're ringing them, you're making sure they're on it every day. You're just so obsessed that your obsession is leaking into them, and it becomes more of like an annoyance to them. They're making a lot of money, more money than they ever had.
I don't think that happens over here at all, though, Sean.
None whatsoever.
I might be guilty. I might be guilty of the same. I don't know. I think it's hard.
I mean, I've made mistakes. Like, we all make mistakes. It's tough. I think a part of it is just people being young. A lot of people came in the company, they made good money, and then they want to steal the idea and copy it because we don't have licenses or insurance. There's no structure in the social media world. It's just, I learned how to do this. I can go do it myself now. Why would I give this guy half the money if I can go do it myself? Yeah. So that attitude, though, for every person that's thought like that, they are less than where they were. And the people that have stuck with me are at the highest levels they've ever been. So you're just stronger together, not because of me, but because we're all strong together, rather than all these people going out and thinking, I can do it myself. Okay, well then go recreate everything that we've all put in to make this thing turn, right?
Right. Yeah. And not to mention that if somebody that does have those same desires wants to be, the next Cody Kerns or wants to start the next iComeUp marketing and already works for your organization, wants to take it that way, why would they not build off of the infrastructure you've already built, right? We're in a interesting place as an agency. Grant Cardone talks about attention, right? Get attention. And luckily, I'm like, hey, I'm really good at that, whether good, bad, indifferent, like I can get attention. Well, I got attention and I didn't know what the hell to do with the attention. So I knew what to do with it, but I didn't have infrastructure. I didn't have anything to really support that. So rather than going back and building it and doing what you just mentioned, something that I'm really not good at, which is building the systems and processes and actually getting into I'm just like, hey, let's figure it out. Like, hey, this is what we want to do. Let's just do it. And people are like, well, how do you want to do it? What do you mean? Like, figure it out, right? Let's just do it. And so rather than having to go back and try to build that, we plugged into something that was already working. So somebody could have easily come to you and said, hey, I want to start a new branch of this. I got this idea or whatever. I always say, and I had a pastor, I'm not like a, super religious person. I used to be in ministry in the past life, but I had a pastor say to me that, hey, as long as your vision is not different, it's a vision, right? It's big picture. So as long as your big picture vision is not entirely different than what we're doing, then you can fall up under my authority, so to speak, right? Or my guidance or my umbrella, however you want to put that. But if your vision is totally different, so if I want to start marketing but not for social media and do something else completely different than Cody Kerns, well, then that makes sense. But if you're going to do more of the same, why not just do it together? I agree with that wholeheartedly. We are better together. We try to follow that as an agency, even as not even an agency, even as an industry. Like, we help other insurance agents that are not our own insurance agents. Like, I field calls, texts, messages, whatever, with questions that, you know, don't make me any money, but I'm happy to help because I was once struggling in this industry too. It can be a dog eat dog world out there, but rather, you know, a rising tide raises all ships, right?
Totally. And I just think, you know, my story was that a bunch of young people, young guys that make good money and they're so young that at 22, 24, 25, they're not going to just settle down. They think there's more out there. Like, oh, well, you know,
we're
this
all
was so
guilty.
easy to make 100,000. Let's go find the $250,000 because if I do it myself, that must be I can keep all the money, right?
Yep.
So, I don't know, man. I tried it for a while. I have a couple people now, but really, yeah, it's a tight ship. Like, I've made partnerships to outsource and get a lot of the work fulfilled, and in my staff, there's like 4 of us.
Okay.
I got myself, my fiance, who's like pretty much my partner, handles all the organization for the Airbnbs, awesome. Social media stuff. And then I have like 1-2 sales guys. One of my sales guys made like $250,000 last year. He's 27, and he's gonna just keep getting all the leads in business until he can't handle it, right?
And then he can train somebody and bring somebody in and build his team out the way that he wants to, because you don't have to control that part of it. That's you know, let him find his passion.
I think one of the like, it's a blessing and a curse, but with the internet and social media, everybody wants to be their own boss. And I'm phrasing not everyone, of course,
right.
But I think social media has given everyone this image of, I'll just be my own boss, do my own thing. And economies can't work like that. Like, there has to be teams and systems.
Right.
And 99% of the time, an individual will be more fulfilled and earn more money and be happier because they're around great people when they're a part of something.
Yeah. Yep.
Is what I've learned. I love being a part of great teams and systems with people that are ahead of me.
Right.
And that's hard because a lot of people want to be the biggest shark, whether they admit it or not. And that's what keeps them so small. It's like, I don't keep 100% of what I generate.
Right.
I have a whole team and fulfillment company to take care of, right? So I prefer the partnerships, man. I like when all of us are making good money and they're small and tight and just everyone's on the same page and ethical and do the right thing, and you make a lot of money doing it like that.
A lot less headaches too.
Couldn't agree more. Yeah, cool. Sean nailed it. A lot less headaches. A lot less headaches. I think the biggest thing, you know, to take away from that is that we're all better together, right? We all need somebody. Even, and you're talking about it yourself, like you're literally saying that you don't keep 100%. You are not the number one, even though you are the founder, CEO of iComeUp Marketing. There's always other people you rely on. You know, there's always other people you lean on. So the lesson in that is obviously to not burn any bridges, right? To keep those partnerships, keep those friendships, regardless of what happens. And that's huge, man. I really appreciate that. And I appreciate your transparency saying, hey, listen, I'm not the best at building teams and keeping teams and, you know, whatever, because that is probably one of the hardest things. I met with somebody yesterday. He's a real numbers guy. He's building a real hands-off agency where everybody can do video trainings and have VA answer their questions and all of these things. But you know, the reality is that there's still people involved in that business, and you still have to deal with those people. And so there's no shortcuts through tech. Even there's ways to make it easier, but there's no shortcuts. But that is a great example of like needing other people to fill in and step in and fill roles, and you know, one team, one dream. Because
so many people are social media gurus now. I do consider myself one of the OGs. It's like we really put in a lot of work and time and effort in the marketing space. You don't always get the props, but down the road, people actually start to reap the benefits, like kind of when those services are concluded,
right?
And they take everything into consideration and start using those tips. So,
well, I personally did not do that. Okay, I personally credit some of my Instagram growth and some help to the man, the myth, the legend, Cody Kerns. So I'm not ashamed to say it. Your team helped me a lot when I was trying to figure this shit out.
I spent a lot of money on my own brand too. I mean, that's the thing in 2022. Like, if you're gonna not spend money on it, you're not really gonna be able to get much. Like, organic reach is almost dead. Instagram engagement is way down. Every platform is just flooded, right?
Yeah.
So how are you going to stand out? The easiest way to stand out is by growing your following. Why? Because it's going to piss off half of the people, and the other half are going to be like, oh, what is this guy or girl doing? Like, what? Are you growing your account? Are you spending money? How are you doing that? Dude, that's all I need. All I need is you to come in on some sort of hook and be interested and have some level of interest or want more insight on what I'm doing, even if it's not about social media or e-com. Just that simple question, boom, now they're in my wheelhouse. So a lot of people are like, well, are these followers going to like my post? Are they going to message me? I don't know. I don't care.
If they like your post, they're going to like your post. If they don't like it, they probably will scroll right past it.
Yeah, so growing your account is definitely the number one tip. It's the cheapest thing that you can do to expand and branch out. And a lot of people that have never grown their audience, their entire following are people they've known for decades, right? So they're nervous. What are they going to say? What are they going to do? If that's your thought, just don't even be on social media and expect business at all. It's just you're there for friends.
Use it for social aspects and not for business.
If you want to make money on social media, you have to go completely against the grain. You have to stand out, grow your following, get a digital camera. Don't have an iPhone, at least get an iPhone, right? Like, make sure you're posting quality content and don't be the person that's only trying to push their business on there either.
Yeah.
To me, someone's personal brand should only be like a third of their professional life. And the other 2/3 should be who they are as a person, what they do as hobbies, their family, their passions. That is more important on social media than the business. And a lot of that, passion and hobbies and lifestyle and families is going to get people to relate with you
100%.
and engage with you, right? So I've just been doing that same formula now for 7 years. I get messages all the time. Some days it's 1 or 2. Some days it's 30 or 40 about something just as like, hey, your page is awesome, all the way to in-depth questions and wanting to work with me. I've built every business straight from Instagram only with 0 paid advertising. Like, I've never really spent money on advertising, and between e-com and social media, we're over 20 million in sales in the last 7 years. So it speaks for itself. We've helped thousands of people do the same thing. It's one of those things you can't turn off though and say, well, I'm just going to grow it once, and then you either have to do it constantly or just don't do it at all.
I've never really heard that side of your I mean, honestly, I've never really heard that side of your like the reason why you want to grow the following. I've followed you. I've listened to a lot of stuff you've done. I've never heard that total, synopsis, and it makes so much sense. And I'll let you finish, but I was just talking to a couple of my agents. One of my buddies got the Island Boys on a podcast called We in Miami down south by you, and he just had the Island Boys down there. Like, what's with these Island Boys? And I'm like, dude, who fucking cares? They got attention, and that has served them well. Like, good, bad, or indifferent. Whether you like the song, didn't like the song, whether you think they're real or OG or tough or not tough, who gives a shit? You got half the people are like, hey, I love these guys. The other half the people are like, I hate these guys, but I can't stop watching them. It's like a train wreck that I got to just tune into. And I mean, attention's attention, and the only people that are not willing to go there are the people that are scared of the effects that are going to come with that, like what people are going to say, how are they going to view me, how are they going to act towards me when I meet them or see them in public or whatever, right? And frankly, I don't give a shit. I know Sean doesn't give a shit, and I know you don't give a shit. So, but yeah, why? Tell me why.
Yeah, I mean, the number one reason to grow your audience is to just raise your perceived value and influence.
Yeah,
like, that's it. Yeah. So I'm not on social media like begging that all my business comes from there. I'm simply on social media to leverage my audience and brand for situations like this. When I go to events, when I'm at a buyer's meeting, if I'm an agent and I'm meeting with a client, hey, by the way, do you have a business card? Oh, no, I don't. What's your Instagram now? They follow your page. They see you have a lot of followers. I don't care what anyone says. Immediately, it's just the world we live in. They're going to be like, this person's influential. It gives you this much more on the other guy that they're talking to, or girl, right? So
yeah, it's not everything. Like, it's not this much more. It's just, it gives you this much more, right? It's like, it just gives you like that little bit of an edge. So what would you say to those that say, hey, like, I feel like that's, you're tricking the people. I feel like you're not being real or whatever. What would you say to those people?
I don't care.
I love it. I love it.
Great answer. Yeah.
Bro, I mean, look, 2-3 years ago, I'd be emotional. Like, now I'm just like, okay, I mean,
which Lambo am I going to drive today?
I mean, yeah, no, more so just like, hey, look, I've seen it work for myself and
right.
a lot of other people. So if you believe that, let me know what works for you. Like, tell me what works then.
Right. Yeah. That's huge.
But no, I mean, on social media, look, that's the only way to stand out is by having followers. You can have 100 followers and have the best video editor in the world. Dude, no one's gonna care.
I see it all too often. I see it a lot, dude. I see some pages with some. My page sucks. I got a lot of followers. My page sucks. Like, not a lot, not like you're a lot, but I got a lot of followers. But my page sucks, and I don't edit photos before I post them, and like whatever. Sometimes, and there's no real rhyme or reason. But I've got a lot of followers. Whereas, like, you know, you look at somebody, they've got the perfect page. All of their posts are so structured and everything, and then they got 957 followers, and you're like, well, you know, this great content. I wish more people could see it. You know, yeah. Like, I don't know how I stumbled across it, but I wish more people could see your amazing content. So grow your following.
Yeah. I just think if you're a new entrepreneur, you really have nothing to lose. Okay, so if I'm a brand new entrepreneur, I'm going to take the audience I have of 100 or 500 people I went to high school with, and I'm going to just shake that bottle with doing things that will get attention and annoy people. Okay, that's how you get people. That's how you get people to talk. So if I take this bottle of people and shake them up, and 30 of them start going off on tangents to everybody about how Brad's all over Instagram now you have another 30 people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So it's just rinse and repeat. And out of those people, they're obviously not all mean. Like, you'll get people that want to work with you. You
right.
know. So any sort of promotion is good promotion. And if you're new, you have nothing to lose. I would just shake that bottle that you have and see what happens. And if nothing happens, who cares, you know?
Right.
Now, I understand why, like, some people that are older and more tenured, or they have a reputation and they want to be super careful on social media, blah, blah, blah. Same thing, man. Like, what's going to get you to the next level? If you're comfortable, that's fine. Just do what you've been doing. But you want to come into the social media world, especially as a little bit of an older person, you're going to have to shake that bottle.
Dude, are you talking about me, bro? Are you just calling me a little bit of an older person?
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about, I work with people in their 40s, man, 50s, like,
yeah.
People that have money and have done well and have the nice car and house, and they're afraid to show it, you know? And
yep.
I just think people on social media, it's not showing off, it's just showing them what's real and letting them look into your life as far or as shallow as you want them to be able to see. And the deeper
100%.
you allow people to come in, the more people that you're going to connect with.
I couldn't agree more. And the only thing that, and I want you to bring up the next, I'll let you talk about the next thing. The one thing that I think about is when it comes to insurance, talking about, like, could kind of tie this in. You know, we as insurance agents, we're, you know, trying to get somebody covered, right? We're trying to get somebody an insurance plan that they don't exactly like. Let's say I'm talking to somebody with no coverage, okay, but I'm giving them like the good, the bad, the ugly, but I'm really focusing on the ugly part, and then they don't buy the insurance versus and get themselves into a better place versus, you know, highlighting the good, maybe leaving out some of the bad. I'm not saying like just not disclose some of the things you need to disclose or whatever, being compliant, but like your ultimate goal is, you know. So let's talk about from a recruiting standpoint. If I know that I know how to train salespeople to make money in insurance, which I do, right? I have a proven track record of bringing somebody in, allowing them to make a six-figure income, sometimes in their first year, definitely in their second year, as long as they're sticking with it. You know, they're making money in this business, but But I bring somebody in, and all I tell them about is how hard it is and how bad it sucks and how you're going to have to make all these calls and blah, blah, blah. And then they run the other way. Well, I really did that person a disservice by not putting them in a position to take action with me. And so all you're really doing by that is you're just putting somebody, you're maybe breaking down one or two of the walls, not all the walls, but you're breaking down a couple of the walls to allow them to take action and do some sort of business with you because, wow, well, he's got 567,000 followers. He's got to be semi-legit, you know? Like, I mean, you don't just get that by accident, either legit or intentional. So I love that, man. I think that's huge. Sean's over here trying to buy some Air Jordans. He's multitasking. Right. We do it all, right? We do it all. Reselling.
Sneakers app. They're doing a live stream.
Did you get the sneakers? Oh, he's
watching Bitcoin.
Cody's watching Bitcoin. Sean's got the car. He's like, shit, dude, those are about to drop. He's got the Cardinal Red Air Jordan 3s. They're dropping now. Did you get them or did you not get them? Are
no,
you in
the next. It's a live stream. They're doing a shock drop. Should happen in the next few minutes.
It's a shock drop. So it'll be a shock drop. Sean does a lot of reselling. So he's got like bots that are buying and selling things, and you know all the passive income streams you could ask for, right?
Yeah.
Helium miners and all of that good stuff. Bitcoin, is it on the rise or is it on the fall? Do you think
it's a green day?
But 30-day outlook, is it going up? Or is it going down?
Oh, that's too short. That's like saying, could you lose 100 pounds in a month? It's like, I'm with Bitcoin, it's like all I know is in 10 years from now, it'll be hundreds of thousands of coin. It's inevitable. Yep. It's a place to store money. If 1% of the population puts their savings account in, we're already at hundreds of thousands. It's like, to me, it's a no-brainer. The technology is great. It's instant transfers. Being in business, working with people out of the United States, even Canada, like processing, it's impossible. Crypto, instant, right? I don't have to wait for a bank. I go to a bank and want $10,000 out. They don't even have the freaking money.
What's your Bitcoin discount for services paid in Bitcoin?
It just depends on what the Bitcoin price is at. Usually, if it's down, you're actually going to get a better deal because then
you're getting more coins.
Have to send me more of it.
Yeah, but it could be like 10%. So it could be like 10% off of the retail price. 10% off if you send it in Bitcoin.
Usually I'll discount people like 20, 30% if they use crypto.
Wow, that's solid.
That's awesome.
Just so you know, if you want to use iComeUp marketing, you better start accumulating Bitcoin. If for no other reason to accumulate Bitcoin, it's to pay Cody when he asks for it.
Love it.
Love it. Do not give me your Bitcoin. I will take it, but just don't just hold it.
Yes, exactly.
It's going to be worth more down the road.
Give me some fiat. Yeah. Exactly. So I actually want to ask you about something that you recently did that I think is phenomenal. It's one of my goals. I know it's one of Brad's goals. But you actually just retired your mom at the age of 26, which is awesome. You know, tell us a little bit how that happened, how that made you feel. To me, that would be like one of the greatest achievements I could ever achieve in life.
Agreed. Oh, look at what up? He's making an appearance.
Getting photobombed.
What's going on? He's also.
Let him hang out. I let him hang out. He's got his bed down here in the office.
He's also retired.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like telling about me, Cody.
Maximize, Eric.
This guy eats all day. I mean, retiring my mom was always a goal. Specifically, you know, because she raised me by herself, essentially. And I just remember growing up in middle school, like I didn't see her a lot of the time because she was working the graveyard shift, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. She's getting home at midnight. Growing up, I watched her work my entire life. Some of the jobs she even did, she volunteered as like an EMT. So just a really good person and always took care of me, always got me what I wanted, new basketball shoes. And you don't realize, like growing up, you know, she was putting all that on credit cards and putting herself in a situation to make sure that I was happy. So when I joined network marketing and got into all that personal development, you know, I started leaving notes and writing down, like, I want to retire my mom. And her and I would make the joke, you know, like by 21, I'm going to retire you. And it didn't happen at 21, but yeah, it happened at 26. I bought her a house down here in South Florida. She was living in a not so great apartment up in upstate New York. And I mean, she's happy. She has a new husband, awesome guy. Like they're just happy with life. Right. Awesome. And I wanted her down here. wanted her closer, wanted to retire her. And yeah, we had the plan together. I had the money and I was like, why don't we buy you a nice house? Let's go look. Bought the house and she retired, and I give her some money every month. She has money coming in from her job, which is enough for her to essentially do nothing anymore, which she says it's funny. She's like, I'm so bored now, but no, it's a really good feeling. And again, I took care of myself before I did that though.
Yeah.
And a lot of entrepreneurs, it's like, I want to retire my mom. I'm going to retire my parents. It's an amazing goal, but you got to start one step at a time. Like, I'm not going to be homeless and retire my mom. That's not going to work like that.
Right.
I took care of myself. I got my own personal finances and everything I needed in order to then be able to say, I can afford to give this chunk of money and not ever expect it back, and not put myself or her in an even more stressful situation. Right.
Yeah.
So it just felt right. We did it. She's down here. She's the best dog sitter I could ask for. Yeah, everything is good. It worked out to plan. I mean, thank God, whatever you praise and have thanks for, it's just like, it's that, but it also comes down to you too, man. Like, you got to make it happen. And you also got to be in an industry that you can make money in. Like, we didn't even talk about that, but you got to be in a space that you can control your income, because
right.
You're not going to be able to do that just with a base salary,
right.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just,
even if it's a side hustle, even if it's like you got your base salary, but you're building something on the side that is limitless and you can blow the cap off of, because if you're capped, you're limited. Obviously, the limit is your cap.
Like introverted people who don't want to do social media and don't want to do this and don't want to do that. The biggest I would recommend is, like, if you have the patience and the discipline with yourself, is to learn how to trade in the stock or Forex market. And you could go work your job and then go home and have zero distractions from that job. And you could double your income, if not more. So,
Sean's like, I'm all over it.
Deal.
He loves that.
Worked in banking for 10 years and traded on the side.
So. Well, you know what's so funny is I didn't even put two and two together with the Vima, recruiting pitch of retire your parents, dude. That was the thing. I remember sitting in the house and I remember like, yo, it's going to be so cool when my mom's making 20 grand a month off of my business that I built and I got everything. It's like, and I specifically remember sitting the same. I didn't end up taking action because I was a construction worker with a very limited mindset and no belief in anything that wasn't, manual labor and hard work and whatever. And insurance, thankfully, kind of changed that for me, but or not kind of, definitely changed that for me. But I remember that portion, and as soon as you said that, you said, like, when you said 20, it didn't happen at 21, but it happened at 26. I'm thinking, who the fuck thinks about retiring their mom at 20? At 21 years old, you got to be some sort of like animal. But you heard that in the Vima pitch, and I'm sure it spoke to you because you like that was deep down, you just didn't realize it. Like, but I wasn't thinking about retiring my mom at 21 years old. And so, it's awesome to do it at any point in your freaking life. And it is one of my goals. I got to take my mom on a vacation a couple of weeks ago that, I didn't take one vacation ever with my mom outside of the state of Florida, right? I don't even remember them inside the state of Florida. But so, like, I'm like talking to my wife, I'm like, where can we take my mom that she wants to go on a plane, that she wants to travel to, that we also have a babysitter, right? Like we got somebody to stay home with the kids when we go out. But like that we can have a family time. And we went to Colorado, visited her sister, and it was the greatest time ever. And while I'm not retiring her just yet, like definitely in the cards, definitely what I'm looking to do, or at least partially retire, like not to have a plan B, like, but I say at least partially retire because I don't know that she'll ever be able to sit still. She's just not the type of person that can hang out and not work.
It's
but
the house, if you can eliminate to where people have to worry about the mortgage and the down payment, like that is the partial retirement. So it's fun, man. I mean,
it's an asset at the end of the day anyways. You know what I mean? That house is still an asset. So it's a no-brainer. Well, I think
look, but when you die, I'm gonna still want that.
It's still going to me.
Listen,
still in my name.
Whatever works. But man, I think I speak for both of us, all of us here, that I really appreciate you coming on. Dropped some very valuable stuff, man. More than anything else, I think just the mindset. It goes along with everything we always talk about, failures, finding a win, ultimately doubling down there, reinvesting your business, reinvesting in people. So I'm thankful to have you on, man. I really appreciate your time. I know it's valuable. We're going to wrap things up. But before we do, right, if you're somebody that's in the insurance industry or in any industry, right, because this is geared for insurance agents, but really anybody can listen. I actually had a friend. The reason I said that, I had a friend that texted me earlier, like, hey, what's your podcast? I want to listen to it. And so, maybe you're not in the insurance space and you're listening to this podcast. Where would people find Cody Kerns?
My Instagram would be best. Just Cody Kerns 5. I mean, that's where I put in all my time and effort.
I figured. Yeah.
So that's where you can find me, connect with me. Right now offering a lot of the e-commerce services with Amazon and some stuff with Airbnb, getting involved in investing and being, like a hands-off investment with both Amazon and or real estate with Airbnb. So that's my focus. And if I had to leave it with like one tip, it would just be condensed time, time is it's real, but it's so irrelevant at the same time. Everyone has all the same amount of time. It's just, if you want to accomplish that goal of retiring your mom, you got to give yourself an unrealistic time frame so that you're just going hard every day towards it.
So true.
No doubt.
So true, man. And I appreciate that. And also we didn't talk much about the passive stuff you do. So just plug that if you would real quick, some of the passive things you're doing, because you do more than just the social media marketing. So I want to give you the stage to kind of plug that as well, because that's something that I know I'm interested in. Sean and I both, we're anything, like we're literally looking at Air Jordans that are dropping because they resell, anything, PlayStations, Xboxes, you name it, we can resell it.
Right now, it's like when you talk about 10% returns in real estate, people are like, "Oh, I can make that in a day." Warren Buffett, I can't even get those type of returns.
Right.
So I'd love to work with anyone on their Instagram growth, social media management, of course, but some of the higher ticket stuff is going to be that Amazon e-commerce automation. Essentially, we have a staff fulfillment team. We have almost 30 full-time employees out in California, in-house office. We handle all the management. We build you a store on Amazon and supply and ship all those products and have a little bit of margin on there. So every month you're turning out products. There's a 7 to 15% net margin on those products. You make some money, rinse and repeat. That's really fun. Obviously, we get into much more detail than that if you have a call, but that starts at around $35,000 total investment. It's a 2-year contract, and then at the end of 2 years, you can renew for a $5,000 fee. But our goal is to ROI that individual within 2 years.
Right.
That's a little bit riskier of a play just because it's e-commerce, it's Amazon. There's a lot of unknown things.
A lot of changes. Yeah.
Right.
So the little bit safer of a play I do offer is investing into Airbnbs. So I own multiple Airbnbs up here in Delray Beach, luxury properties, $1.5 to $2.5 million places that we do all the management, all the cleaning, all the fulfillment, all the guest services, have the 5-star rating, host, super host, everything, right? Someone essentially joins our Airbnb club. They put in a minimum of $50,000. They're going to earn 10% cash flow a year, paid out monthly. And then at the end of year 5, we're going to refinance, sell, and we want a 1.75x that original $50K. And in total, they would have made back $87,500. Wow. So
awesome.
That's a good play. I mean, Airbnb is there. We've crunched the numbers to get that return. It's very realistic and conservative. The rental space in South Florida is going insane. More and more people are going to keep
It is nuts. It is nuts. We're going on this bachelor party next week. We were looking to go to South Florida, and we've got like 16 guys going, and some of them aren't in insurance.
Yeah, right? Most aren't.
Most of them aren't in insurance. They're like, man, these places are pricey. Like we're looking at 15. I mean, I didn't know you had rentals down there, so we didn't go down the road, but we're looking at places for 15 people. You're talking like $10,000 a night, $5,000. You see some crazy stuff. I love it.
For marriage, of course. But yeah. It's good returns, good stuff.
I appreciate it. I'm glad to have you on. I look forward to dropping this next week. So if you're watching this for the first time, or if you're watching this, when we just released it, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it, and thank you again, Cody, for jumping on. Let's do this again in the future for sure. And also, I'm just getting back from Mexico the day before your Miami event, that event that I've tried to go to last year. I'm committing right now live. We've got to go to it next year. I'll be there. As long as it's in South Florida, dude, I'm there. We got to get together. So I look forward to it and appreciate again you being on the show.
Yeah, likewise. Appreciate you guys.
All right, bro. Hey, thank you guys again for tuning in to episode number 6 of the Insurance Sucks podcast. As always, we didn't talk about much insurance, but listen, if you want to talk insurance, join me, my mentor, right? Me and my mentor, as well as Victor Gonzalez, are going live March 21st, right? You join the Facebook group, links are in the description below, but March 21st, talking about selling insurance year round in the under 65 space. I'm super excited about this because my mentor is going to be joining me here live in studio to talk about some of the products, some of the tactics, some of the strategies that you need to make income year round in this business rather than just being reliant on the open enrollment period. So some of these products are products that I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't know how much I needed until I started to use them. So you want to make sure that you attend that, as well as if you join this, you'll see in the link below, bonus 15-minute one-on-one call with myself. Anybody that attends that fills out the form to get a one-on-one 15-minute call with me will get that. So I look forward to seeing you there. This is one of the more exciting things that I've got the chance to do because my mentor, who doesn't get behind a camera very often, is going to be next to me right here in studio to talk to you, as well as me, about products and strategies that you need to sell outside of open enrollment. So I will see you March 21st, and look out for the next episode of the Insurance Podcast, or the Insurance Sucks podcast, dropping next week. I'll see you soon.